Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Today we're going to talk about 10 reasons why teens, our youngsters, are abusing drugs and alcohol. This is a severe problem that we're having not just in this country but globally. There are particular reasons why teens turn to drugs and alcohol. We will discuss those this morning, but first and foremost I want to give a shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com. You can reach him at 844-414-8444. Dr. Luis Gonzalez has a couple entities to his business. First is the Walking From Your Addiction to Recovery Together, 24 hours at a time, one day at a time. He will never ever let you just go on your own. He will motivate you. He will find whatever answers you already have within yourself and lift them to the surface. He together will help you take your life back. He will never ever talk about your past. He is not a counselor or therapist. What he is, like me, is an addiction recovery coach. Let Dr. Luis Gonzalez help you from your addiction to recovery at 844-414-8444. Also want to mention that the other side of his business is that he can help turn you into an addiction recovery coach with his educational program. If you have passion, personality and professionalism, and you have an addiction background, whether it's dealing with your own or possibly helping other people within your family, shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez at 844-414-8444 and let him help take your life back. Also, you can find him on www.startingpointmn.com. The MN stands for Minnesota. That's www.startingpointmn.com. Give a shout out to Global Eyeglasses. They are focused on saving you money. Global Eyeglasses has frames that are as low as $6 and go up to about $49. Those frames come with, for that price, clear, standard, plastic, non-coated lenses, and also come with a cloth and a case. Now, if you want progressives, they have them. If you need line bifocals, they have them. If you want transitions, they have them. If you want photo gray, they have them. They have thinner lenses. That is all available through globaleyeglasses.com. Reach out to them, and they are focused on saving you money. And folks, if you have any questions whatsoever about Global Eyeglasses, shout out to me and text me at 631-599-0218. I happen to know the company very well. And not only that, I am a board-certified optician. I've been in the optometry field for over 30 years. So shout out to me. Text me 631-599-0218. Excuse me one second. Okay, my cat was just in the way. Now, please go to my website at www.takeyourlifebacktoday show and let me show you some of my latest episodes under page 2 titled My Story. You'll find real people with real stories on that particular page, and you'll find a lot of my latest episodes. Go to www.takeyourlifebacktodayshow.com. 10 reasons why teens abuse drugs. The teen years are often considered the most difficult period of a person's life. After all, many often do hear anyone over the age of 30 say, "Oh, I just want to be 15 again." How many people do you know that are, let's say, about 30 years old that just turn around and say, "God, do I wish I was 15? People never say that. People usually wait not until they're in their 40s or 50s and they say, "God, I wish I was in my 20s again," because the 15, 16, 17, even 13 or 14 is a rough time for most people. You probably never heard anyone saying that. It's a trying time of life for a teen, and to attempt to navigate through life and feel the difference between going from being a child into adulthood. It's almost like a bridge being a teenager. So what are the things, or what are reasons that possibly a teen would turn to drugs? Well, I'll tell you, here are my 10 reasons. And of course, there's probably many, many more, but these are 10 that I came up with. And I think number one has to be peer pressure. It is very powerful step of life or stage of life, the peer pressure, and very influential part of life. being a teen, you want to go with the flow with your other peers. And one thing is, if they're going to do drugs, if they're going to do alcohol, you will stand out. You feel you'll stand out if you don't do it. But let me tell you, folks, if there are any teens watching in my audience, there is nothing wrong to just say no to drugs and alcohol. But peer pressure is number one on my list. Number two, to look and feel grown up. Kids or teens are doing that because they feel they want to, and they want to look like grown-ups. Teens want to be treated like an adult. I'm not that kind. I'm not a kid, that kind of kid anymore, is what they'll say. In other words, to put it plainly, is a kid that smokes, a kid that does drinks, a kid that does crack, is saying that I can do this because I'm not a kid anymore. But guess what? They cannot do this. Even adults shouldn't be doing that. Number three on my list is they're mocking the parents' behavior. Kids will do things that they see at home, and this has been consistently brought up by me in a lot of my episodes. Out of my 360 episodes, I have constantly emphasized the point on being a good role model. If you are going to drink at home and you're going to smoke at home, what do you think your teenagers are going to do? Because they are saying, well, if mom and dad are doing it, it must be okay because mom and dad are my hero. Folks, if you need to drink and if you need to do drugs, do yourselves a favor. Don't do it in front of your children. Don't become reason number three, which is mocking parents' behavior. Reason number four is curiosity. Curiosity not only killed the cat, but it can also be a very structured temptress. Meaning, people, young people especially with a weaker mind, see other teenagers smoking crack, see other teenagers smoking marijuana, see other teenagers drinking, and they are so curious. Why are my peers doing that? Why do they feel happy afterwards? And of course, then the teenager is going to go straight to number four and become curious and possibly do drugs and alcohol. Number five on my list is boredom. It's been said, idle hands are the devil's tool, and it's also been said, idle mind is the devil's playground. Meaning, if the kids are bored, they will turn to drugs. If kids are bored, they will turn to alcohol. Remember, idle hands are the devil's tool. And idle hands mean they're not being occupied, the hands of your teenagers. And the idle hand is the devil's playground. Meaning that their hands become the devil's playground. It could be holding a marijuana joint. It could be swinging down a beer. Number six on my list is self-medication. Teens that struggle emotionally pain are especially vulnerable to alcohol and drug abuse. If they are suffering because of their home environment, they might turn to alcohol and drugs. If they're suffering because of peer pressure, they might turn to drug and alcohol. If you notice that your teen is having emotional issues, seek professional help immediately. That is the 911. You need to get professional help for your teen before it's too late, because that self-medicating, if abused, can turn, into an overdose. It happens each and every day. Just yesterday I did a segment on 31 stars who drank themselves to death. Don't let your teenager become one of those statistics, whether it's, if they're stars or not, it doesn't matter. Statistics are out there on people overdosing. Number seven is rebellion. Teens like to be absent from their maturity sometimes, meaning that they even though they might be 17, they want to act like 14 and 13 or 15, and when you discipline them because of their lack of maturity. They become rebellious, and they will do whatever it takes to test a parent's limits. They will do whatever it does, whatever it takes. Don't let your teenagers test your limits. Your limits should be should be the highest stage of any limit. Your limit should be limitless. That's really what I'm trying to say. Don't let your teenagers test your limits. Ignorance is number 8. Let's face it, most teens don't turn what they don't want you to tell them what's good and what's bad, so they become ignorant. It is up to you as the parent to give them the information that they need to continue life. Between 13 and 17 or 18 is such a trying time, and their ignorance, because they don't want to listen to you, they don't want to listen to the health classes, they don't want to listen to other people. All they really do is want to listen to their peers. So the ignorance is something that you're going to have to tackle. They will get high to have fun. To get drunk, they feel, and to get high, they feel, is a fun situation. That is something that you also need to be careful for. And you need to let them know, by educating them, that getting high and getting drunk is not a matter of having fun. Last, most important, of all these reasons that I talked about, of peer pressure, of to look and feel grown up, to mock their parents' behavior, of curiosity, of boredom, self-medicating, rebellious, ignorance, and to have fun. The most important one is they, if not monitored, if not kept in check, will become addicted. They use drugs over and over again, even if it's in a recreational sense with their peers, even if it's a recreational sense to look and feel better, even if they use it part-time to copy what they see at home by you doing it, even if they're using it recreational for curiosity, for boredom or self-medicating, they will become addicted. When they become addicted, it is so hard to get their life back again. It is so important that you eliminate a lot of the 10 things that I said. The peer pressure, what is the action plan on eliminating peer pressure? It is to let your youngster know that just because Johnny or Lucy are doing it does not mean they need to do it. They will still fit in to their classroom atmosphere, their peers. They will still fit in. They are actually, you have to let them know, they are actually better than their peers if they say no to drugs and alcohol. What is the action plan if they want to do it because they want to look better and feel grown up? You have to let them know that between ages 13 and 18 and 19 is the best time for them to have fun. Fun as teenagers. They tell them they do not look grown up when they're abusing drugs, when they're abusing alcohol. That is not a grown-up thing to do. And if they feel that the reason they're doing it is to look grown up because they see other grown-ups doing it, if that's what they tell you, it is time for you to take self-inventory of what's going on in your home. What is the action plan for them not to mock what you're doing at home? Well, folks, it's pretty simple. You need to stop smoking in front of your children. You need to stop drinking in front of your children. And while you're cleaning up your act at home as a good role model, you need to stop using profanity. And certainly, if there's any physical abuse going on, that has to stop. And it has to stop now. What is the action plan for curiosity? I am telling you right now that kids will be curious more around their peers than if they were at home. And if you said to your child the first time, go ahead, take a sip of that beer, take a shot of that whiskey, they are going to hate it, disgusted by it. Once they try it one time, I'm not saying you should do it, but if they tell you they have tried it, ask them, what is it that they feel that they're getting out of using drugs? What is it that they feel that they're getting out of using marijuana? And if the answers are, well, we feel better, we feel high, that is a sure sign that you might need to get professional help for them before they become number 10, which is before they become addicted. What is the action plan for number 5, boredom? Folks, get them involved in the chess club. Get them involved in athletic programs at school. Get them involved more at home. Give them chores to do. Find a passion that they might have. Get them away from being bored, because idle hands are the devil's tool, and idle hands is the devil's playground. Idle mind is the devil's playground. Idle hands are the devil's tool, and an idle mind, a mind that's not being used in the proper matter, is the devil's playground. So you need to eliminate that curiosity about drugs and alcohol. Educate them, educate them, educate them. For boredom. Number 6, what is the action plan for self-medication? Well, one thing that I haven't brought up in a long time, and that is your drug dealer that's living in your home. Your drug dealer is called Mr. Medicine Cabinet. It's in your bathroom. Folks, if you have prescriptions that are addictive in your medicine cabinet, it is time for you to get rid of them, to hide them from your children. If you have any adults or teenagers that you feel that might utilize any of them for purposes of self-gratification, it is time for you to clean up Mr. Medicine Cabinet. Get rid of your legal drug dealer in your home. Number 7, what is the action plan for rebellion? Well, one thing is don't show that your limits can be tested. For every time they try to test your limits, you need to be the stronger grown-up, keyword, stronger grown-up, and show them that there is nothing they can do to test your limits. You are limitless. Ignorance. What is the action plan for ignorance? Well, one thing you have to do is they need to have all the information that is available out there on alcohol and drug addiction. And if they become ignorant about it and they become smart-mouthed about it, it is time for you to possibly start looking into professional help. What is the action plan to have fun? If they feel that getting high and getting drunk is the only way to have fun, it is now time for you to give them things to have fun. Take them fishing. Take them horseback riding. Show that there is fun outside of drug and alcohol. What is the action plan if they become addicted? Well, this goes right into the next phase of this segment. If your children, your teenagers, or yourself become addicted to drugs and or alcohol, it is time for professional help. But I am telling you, as I sit here today, that you'll never ever beat alcohol and drug addiction if you don't realize and admit you have a problem. If you don't want to admit you have a problem and you don't realize you have a problem, you'll never battle your addiction properly. June 22nd, 2013, I finally admitted, I always knew I had a problem with alcohol, but June 22nd, 2013, I finally admitted it. Not to the world as much as to myself. It is so important that you admit to yourself that you have a problem. And then, if you want to, like me with my passion, is start telling other people. Yes, I am an alcoholic, but no, does not make me a bad person. What it does make me is a person with a disease that has learned to live with it. That is what that makes me. So if you have, and you know you have an alcohol and or drug problem, today is the time to finally admit it to yourself. The same goes with number 10. They become addicted. You are going to have to nudge them a little to finally realize they have a problem with alcohol and or drugs. Then, once you nudge them and you finally admit it to yourself possibly, you need to have a thing that I like to call a 4-letter word, hope. You cannot hope through any other channel other than the grace of God, because God will walk you through your addiction. You need to have higher power. You need something to hope for. Yes, AA will help you. Yes, a rehab treatment center will help you. I will help you. But you need to include your higher power. Even AA tells you that. You need to include your higher power with your battle of addiction. Now, you have finally admit you have a problem and you're reaching to your higher power. Now your action plan, other than these 10 things that we already discussed, is to find a solution that is workable with your addiction recovery. A solution could be AA and their 12-step program. A solution could be a treatment center, a 30, 60, 90-day program. A solution can be what I do, which is to go out and witness to other people through my camera into your living room, into your kitchen, into homeless shelters, into jails, on different addiction treatment center websites. That is my passion. That is my treatment. I educate myself daily on drug and alcohol addiction. Come up with that action plan. But for all intents and purposes, for the 10 reasons why teens abuse alcohol and drugs, folks, you need to have an action plan for each and every one. You need to have an action plan for peer pressure. You need to have an action plan for they want to look and feel grown up. You need to have an action plan on they're mocking what they see at home. You need to have an action plan on curiosity that might be causing their drug and alcohol addiction. Not addiction, but testing. You need to have an action plan on boredom. Remember, idle hands are the devil's tools, and an idle mind is the devil's playground. Keep your teens' hands and minds busy with something, with a passion, with a hobby. You need to have an action plan for self-medication, including getting rid of Mr. Medicine Cabinet, that legal drug dealer live in your home that might have painkillers or might have any other addictive medication that's just idling in your medicine cabinet. You need to eliminate them, hide them from anyone that's in your household that might have an addictive personality. You need to have an action plan for rebellion. That is super important. And for ignorance, come up with an action plan. You need to have an action plan to show them they can have fun without drugs and alcohol. And if they become addicted, you need to have an action plan, such as getting them to realize they have a problem, reaching out to their higher power to help them, and definitely reaching out to professional help. Because if it starts that young, as teens, only time will make it get worse without professional help. I wanted to see how many minutes we've covered already. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. I hope to God that these 10 reasons, which I'm going to go through real quick: peer pressure, to look and feel grown up, to mock their parents' behavior, curiosity, boredom, self-medication, rebellion, ignorance, to have more fun, and become addictive. I hope that these 10 things, possibly in your teens' lives, will cause you to come up with an action plan for each and every one of them, because it is so important that during their times of 13 till 18, 19, that you are there step by step throughout everything, not just when it comes to drug and alcohol, but everything. And it is super important that you act responsibly as a good role model, as their hero at home, and show them it is not okay to smoke. It is not okay to do drugs and alcohol. It is definitely not okay to use profanity, and absolutely never ever physically abuse anyone, especially in front of your children. Remember, monkey see, monkey do is their attitude. If they see you as the mother or father, grandparent, legal guardian do, they think it's okay to have it done. It is time for you to be the role model, to be that hero, and start showing your children more love, to start showing your children more compassion, to absolutely show your children respect, because in order to get respect, you have to give respect. And absolutely show your children that you are the role model, you are their hero, and they will take that with them after they leave home. But, on the other hand, if you want to be one of those parents that end up on Jerry Springer, on Bill Cunningham, on Steve Wilkos, if you want to be one of those parents that physically abuses, does drugs and alcohol, uses profanity in front of your children, and you end up on that show because your children call the shows, and you have to be confronted by your children, and your children say, I turned out this way because of you. I turned out doing drugs and alcohol, Mom, because you did it in front of me. I turned out physically abusing my children, Dad, because you abused me. So if you want to see yourself on one of those shows, and you want your children to confront you on there, continue doing what you're doing, if that's what you're doing at home. But if you're a good role model and you're not smoking, you're not drinking, and you're not physically abusing or using profanity, great, congratulations, keep that going. Concentrate on the 10 things that I just told you about that are the reasons for why teens use or abuse alcohol and drugs. And you know what, the word abuse on this I don't like. I want to change the title to 10 reasons why kids use alcohol and drugs, because abuse gives it some sort of okay for them to use it. I don't want your teens to ever use drugs or alcohol, more or less abuse it, but I never want them to even use it. So eliminate that peer pressure, eliminate them wanting to feel grown up, tell them and show them that they're still the kids. Stop behaving, I should say start behaving in a better manner at home so they don't want to mock your behavior. Kill the curiosity that killed the cat by letting them know drugs and alcohol is no good for them. When it comes to the boredom at home, which is number 5 on my list, idle hands are the devil's tool, and an idle mind is the devil's playground. So show them by keeping their hands and their mind occupied with everything else, drugs and alcohol wouldn't even be effective. The self-medication has to be straightened out at your home, and it has to be straightened out in your teen's life. But more importantly, start at home. Get rid of Mr. Medicine cabinets, drugs that might be addictive, and show your children, your teenagers, and teach them not to be rebellious and ignorant towards drugs and alcohol. Let them know that it's bad for them and it can eventually kill you, and show them that they can have fun without it. And if they do become addicted, it is up to you as the parent. It is up to you, the grandparent, and the legal guardian, to make sure that they get the help that they need. Show them that there is a higher power that they can reach for. Get in touch with a professional, even addiction recovery coaches like Dr. Luis Gonzalez at startingpointmn.com. Call him at 844-414-8444, or even reach out to me. And you can call my helpline, which is 844-405-HELP, or you can text me at 631-599-0218. Folks, a sober today, I guarantee you, will make a better tomorrow. And if you think positive, positive things will happen in your life. People that think negative have negative things happen. People that think positive have positive things happen. And remember Nancy Reagan back in 1981 when she started this slogan, say no to drugs and alcohol. Well, I am telling you to tell your teenagers, just say no. It is that simple. Just say no. Say yes to other things, but say no to drugs and alcohol. And I want to wish each and every one of you folks out in my audience a great day. But more importantly, folks, I want to wish that each and every one in my audience has a sober day. And may God bless you. Thank you.